before history was written in stone. It was carved in flesh and fire by beings who fell from heaven. This is the story of their sin, the giants they spawned, and the world they broke. There was an age shrouded in mystery, an era before even the days of Noah. A time whose shadow still trembles over creation. In this forgotten time, a shadow fell that would darken the world. In the heavens, the sons of God, the angelic watchers assigned to guard humanity, looked down. They saw the daughters of men, and their beauty ensnared them. A thought, a single corrupting thought, sparked a rebellion that would scar eternity. Semjaza, their leader, summoned 200 of his brethren to the snowy peaks of Mount Hermon. There, beneath a sky heavy with unspoken doom, they swore an oath that would become their damnation.
I fear I alone will pay the price for this great sin.
Let us all swear. Let us all bind ourselves to this path. What is done cannot be undone.
And so they descended. They did not float down on gentle wings. They fell like burning stars, crashing into the world of mortals. When their feet touched the ground, the very earth trembled, for their forms blazed with a terrifying, unholy light. Mortals looked on, stunned into silence. These brilliant, terrible beings took human wives, and with them they fathered children. But these were no ordinary children. They were born with an ancient hunger in their eyes and a power that cracked the bones of the earth. They grew to immense stature, their heads blocking out the sun. They were the Nephilim, the giants. Their presence was a living terror. These sons of fallen angels and human women dominated the tribes of men. They became kings, tyrants and gods, the famous heroes of old. But they were also monsters. Their hunger was endless. At first, they devoured the animals and the fruits of the earth. But soon, that was not enough. Their hunger turned upon their creators. They began to hunt humans. The world twisted. The land itself began to birth deformed, impure creatures. Abominations born from a mixing of species that should never have been. And the Watchers, their fathers, taught mankind secrets that should have remained locked in heaven. Azazel, a prince among them, taught men how to forge swords, shields, and instruments of war. Other angels gifted humanity the dark arts of astrology, magic, and sorcery. Mankind, drunk on this forbidden knowledge, fell deep into corruption. Violence was celebrated. Chaos became the new law. Nature itself seemed to groan in agony, the skies darkening, the land showing signs of a sickness that ran deeper than the roots of mountains.
Part 2. The Prophet.
In the midst of this decay, when all hope seemed lost, God sent a warning. He sent a just man, one who walked with him, who would not bow to giants or fallen angels. His name was Enoch. While chaos reigned, Enoch's voice rose like a thunderclap in the wilderness.
You sons of heaven, you have abandoned your glorious home and have defiled the earth. The Most High sees, he will judge you.
His words echoed through the mountains, a prophecy of fire. But few listened. The world laughed. They mocked the old prophet, blind to the doom gathering on the horizon. But the judgment was already in motion. The giants continued their reign, building impossibly high towers. their laws written in blood and enforced by brutal strength. The world lived in their shadow, and men eagerly imitated their cruelty. Enoch walked through the ruins of cities the Nephilim had shattered, his heart breaking. He spoke of the visions that burned in his mind, a future of absolute destruction.
I have seen it. The mountains will melt like wax, the stars will fall from the sky, and the armies of the Lord will descend in righteous fire.
Hearing these words, the fallen angels, the proud, defiant watchers, felt an emotion they had never known: fear. They came to Enoch, their radiant forms now dimmed with dread.
Prophet, intercede for us. Take our petition to the Creator. Beg for his mercy.
With a heavy heart, Enoch carried their pleas to the throne of God. But the judgment was already sealed. There was no mercy left for them. Enoch returned, his face a mask of sorrow and divine finality.
There will be no peace for you. Your giant sons will be destroyed before your very eyes, and you will be forced to watch the ruin of all you have created. This is the word of the Lord.
His words struck them like lightning. On earth, the giants continued to fight and build, arrogant in their power, believing they were untouchable. But their time was over. Their end was racing towards them.
Part 3. The Flood.
As the earth drowned in darkness, a new figure emerged. A simple man, of no great stature or fame. A man with calloused hands and a pure heart. A man whose eyes still looked to the sky for hope. His name was Noah. While the giants made war and cities collapsed into dust, Noah walked with God. A righteous man in a generation lost to evil. One night a light descended from heaven. A fire that did not burn. A presence that filled the soul with overwhelming awe.
The end of all flesh has come before me. The earth is filled with violence because of them, and I will destroy them with the earth. Build for yourself an ark.
Noah, filled with holy fear, did not question. He did not hesitate. He began to work. The sound of his hammer was a lonely drumbeat of obedience in a world deafened by sin. People gathered to mock him.
Look at the old man! He builds a ship on dry land! Has the sun cooked your brain, Noah? Where is this great flood of yours?
Noah did not answer. The steady rhythm of his work was his only reply. Meanwhile, in the heavens, the gears of judgment turned. The archangels received their orders. Raphael was sent to capture Azazel, the leader of the rebellion. He found him in the mountains, bound him with chains of spiritual fire, and cast him into an abyss of utter darkness, to be sealed until the end of days. Gabriel, the messenger, was sent to sow discord among the giants. He whispered paranoia and hatred into their hearts. Clans that were once allies turned on each other in a final, bloody war. As heaven waged its battle, Noah finished his work. The ark was a colossal vessel, a silent promise of survival. Then God spoke one last time.
Enter the ark, you and all your house.
And they came. From the four corners of the world, the animals arrived. 2 by 2, birds descended from the sky. Reptiles crawled from the dust. Great beasts lined up, guided by a divine command that only they could hear. On the 7th day, Noah entered the ark with his family. The great door was closed, not by human hands, but by the hand of God himself. And then, silence. A terrible, waiting silence. Black clouds formed walls in the sky. Lightning tore the firmament with silent, blinding fury. A deep groan came from the heart of the world. Then a deafening roar. The fountains of the great abyss shattered. The windows of heaven were thrown open. Water burst from the bowels of the earth. Rain fell not in drops, but in solid sheets, like a liquid curtain of death. The Nephilim, confident in their impossible strength, raced to the highest mountains. But the water did not respect their height. It rose without cease, relentless and hungry. A giant, perhaps Gilgamesh himself, roared at the raging heavens, a curse of defiance on his lips. But thunder was his only reply before a swirling vortex dragged him down into the darkness. The screams of giants and humans became one sound, quickly swallowed by the rising tide. For 40 days and 40 nights, the world was unmade. The highest mountains disappeared. No flesh survived. The earth was washed clean by the tears of judgment. Upon a dark, endless ocean, a single wooden vessel floated. A new beginning was waiting.
Part 4. The Echo.
The waters finally receded. The ark rested upon the mountains of Ararat. The first thing Noah did upon touching dry land was build an altar, not of gold, but of simple, grateful stones. As the smoke from his offering rose, a magnificent arc of color, a rainbow, appeared in the sky. It was God's new promise, a covenant of mercy. Generations passed, the world healed, but in the silence of the new earth, whispers of the past remained. Ancient stories surfaced among the tribes of men, legends of giants, of titans who had somehow survived. Peoples like the Anakim and the Rephites appeared in the land of Canaan. Their bodies were larger, their shouts deeper, their swords heavy as tree trunks. The echo of the Nephilim had returned. When Moses sent 12 spies into the promised land, 10 came back shaking with fear.
The land is a land that devours its inhabitants. We saw the giants there, the sons of Anak. We were like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so we were in theirs.
The people wept. Their faith faltered. But 2 men, Joshua and Caleb, stood against the tide of fear.
The Lord is with us. They are nothing but bread for us to eat. Do not be afraid.
Under Joshua's command, Israel marched. The strongholds of the giants, Hebron, Debir, fortresses that scraped the sky, were taken. The giants fell. In Bashan, they faced Og, the last of the old Rephate kings. His bed was made of iron, a monument to his terrifying size. But God's promise was greater than any giant. Og fell. Bashan was taken. The shadow of the past was being burned away by the light of faith. Yet, the final echo, the greatest challenge, was yet to come. Among the Philistines, a champion arose, Goliath of Gath, a mountain of a man, nearly 10 feet tall, clad in bronze that gleamed like a cruel sun. For 40 days, he mocked Israel.
I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man, that we may fight together. Why do you hide like cowards?
All of Israel was afraid. Not even King Saul dared to face him. But then, from the sheep fields, a boy came. A shepherd, armed with only a staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones from a stream. His name was David. The battlefield fell silent. On one side, Goliath, a living weapon of bronze and mockery. On the other, a shepherd boy with nothing but faith in his heart.
Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? Come here, boy, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air.
You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand.
The heavens watched. The angels held their breath. The stone flew. A blur, a whistle, a sickening crack. Goliath, the great giant, the unbeatable champion, fell face down in the dirt. The ancestral fear that had haunted humanity for ages was broken by a boy with a single stone. David ran, took the giant's own massive sword, and severed his head. The Philistine army, seeing their champion fall, broke and fled in terror. The nightmare was over. Under David's reign, the last of the giants were hunted down and destroyed. Ishbi-Benob, Saf Lami, the last remnants of a cursed bloodline, fell one by one. They were not slain by angels or demigods. They were slain by mortal men, armed with something the giants could never understand. The age of shadows had passed. The memory of the Nephilim became a warning, a story whispered through time, a reminder that even the most terrifying darkness can be overcome. It is not strength that conquers giants. It is faith.